Hello everyone, my name is Becky Kaz and I'm a freelance illustrator based in Switzerland. You might remember me by my first Domestika course called Designing Kawaii Worlds Spread Joy Through Illustration, or you might know me from Instagram as Becky Kaz. If you want to know more about how I started illustrating, what inspired me to start through this art journey, feel free to go and visit my first Domestika course where I give more detail about how I started. Everything, my whole life story is there if you want to go check it out. But for now, I'm going to tell you what I've been working on in the past year. In the past year, I've been working on some book projects. I published 2 more sticker books, and they are the food books that I love so much. One is called Cute Foods Around Town and Cute Foods Around the World. As well, I'm now a published author, and I'm very proud of that. I wrote the book in German, but it's going to be translated in English. In this book I wrote, I also teach you how to draw cute things step by step. It's very complementary to this online course as well as the first online course. I think these 3 things can really help you start into kawaii illustration. And it has a lot of images, a lot of step-by-step, super detail, and I give a comment on each thing. It could be super beneficial to you as well as a complement to this course. I have 20 projects on the book, and I'm just super excited that I wrote my first book, and I hope I can keep helping you guys grow as artists. I hope as well that you enjoy this course. I'm also being in another convention, selling all my products. I have new caps, new tote bags, a lot of new cute things on my online shop as well, new brushes. I'm just working really hard on my online shop. In the next lesson, I'm going to be talking about my influences. In this lesson, I'm going to be talking you through all my main influences at the moment. Through our art journey, we have so many things that it can influence our art. For example, it can be our daily lives, it can be things that we like to watch on TV or music, food, even our friends. Things like that can really influence everything that we draw. If you want to see more detail of my influences, you can check my first Domestika course. Right now, I'm just going to tell you what has influenced me in the past year. I've been super influenced by cute animals. I've been drawing mainly cute animals, kitties, bunnies, everything that's adorable, fluffy, and chunky. That's what I'm drawing. I still like drawing humans, but I'm just mainly influenced by adorable animals. Also, something else that's been influencing me a lot throughout the past year is food. I've been drawing so much food as well, different kinds. I also have 2 books that are focused in food. When I see food that is cute, I want to draw it. I want to go and draw that food. Something else that's been influencing me a lot is video games, and those video games are Animal Crossing. It's just the level of cuteness of that video game is crazy. I love, for example, changing the spaces that I can decorate. I usually want to go and change my room in Animal Crossing, and I get inspired and I want to draw that as an isometric room. Definitely video games is one big influence. As well, music, I've been super influenced by K-pop lately. I just love it. It's just happy and it brightens up my day every day. Something else that is super inspiring me lately is pixel art. And I just love the way that pixel art in video games simplifies an idea and makes it super cute and super small. When I am building my isometric rooms, I want to simplify as much as I can and make them look adorable in these rooms. As well, I've been super inspired by interior design. I love watching these beautiful rooms decorated with kawaii things, with pastel colors. It's just super inspiring for my artwork, and I like including all these beautiful things in my illustrations. And talking about isometric drawing, in the next lesson, I'm gonna teach you all I know about that. Hi everyone, in this lesson I'm gonna teach you all I know about isometric drawing. Isometric drawing is a two-dimensional representation of a 3D object or environment using angles and measurements to create the illusion of a 3D design with depth on a 2D surface. In isometric drawing, horizontal lines are drawn on a 30-degree angle, and they are super important to create this 3D effect. Drawing an object that is three-dimensional on a 2D surface can be challenging for us artists, but we can use techniques like shadow and highlights and things like that to give some depth to our drawings. Even though isometric drawing is mainly used in technical drawing by engineers or architects, it's really fun for us artists because we can put so much detail into our illustrations and give it more depth to it as well. We can unleash our imagination way more than if we will draw a flat surface. The most fun way to learn isometric drawing is to create these beautiful and magical isometric rooms filled with a lot of kawaii things and cute characters. Just the design process of isometric rooms can really help you to develop your design skills. In this course, I'm going to teach you how to draw isometric rooms with Procreate and how to unleash your imagination. In the next lesson, I'm gonna tell you all the materials and tools you are going to need for this course. In this lesson, I'm gonna show you all the materials we're gonna be needing for this course. I am going to be using the iPad Pro, my Apple Pencil, and Procreate. If you don't have the same materials that I have, feel free to use whatever you have in hand. If you have another kind of tablet, if you have Photoshop, Krita, whatever software that you're using, feel free to use that. For everyone who doesn't have any digital tools, feel free to sketch and draw on paper as well. I will be adding an isometric grid into the attachments, so you can download that and draw over that if you are going to be using paper. On the next lesson, I'm gonna help you find inspiration for your isometric room and give you some tips if you need some inspiration or if you feel a little bit art blocked. We have in hand our tools and materials. It's time to create a mood board. But first, let's define a theme. I know sometimes defining a theme can be super intimidating because maybe we don't have enough ideas or maybe we have too much ideas at the same time. So I have a tip for you. We are going to choose 3 prompts. Prompts are words that might encapsulate maybe a little idea that we might have. When I think of kawaii, for example, I think of pastel colors, I think of cute things and small animals, things like that, or video games. To define my idea better, I'm going to select 3 of these main words. For example, I'm going to have cozy, pastel colors, and cute animal. That's gonna be my 3 main prompts. Now that I have my 3 prompt words, I'm going to create 2 mood boards. One for my isometric room, like things I'm gonna put in it, and one for my character. Here I have my Pinterest board. I use Pinterest a lot because it's super easy to create mood boards in it. So here you can see I've created one already for the Kawaii Room final project. And I already put some little things in there, but let's find more inspirations. I will also advise you to try to find pictures of rooms, spaces that you might want to draw instead of art from other artists, because we want to be unique. We don't want to look too much of what other people have done before. So let's just focus on finding spaces, rooms, things that we might like. And I'm going to add more photos. As you can see, I have here very cute and cozy spaces. I love this little bed. That's super cute. I love the colors. I love all the objects around the window. That is pretty cute. And I would kind of like to find stuff like this. This other cute room here. I think that's pretty cute and I'm going to save it. into my kawaii final project. And so we're going to be adding more and more. It could be a kitchen, it could be a room, it could be a garden even. Like it doesn't have to be a room inside a house. It can be so many things. This also looks very cozy. I think I would like that as well. Let's save it. I'm gonna put it here on my kawaii room final project. And I'm going to go back and find more cute rooms. And for example, if you don't find anything, you can type in the search bar, for example, cute rooms or like cute spaces or pastel color rooms. That usually brings up a lot of very cute things. For example, this room is adorable. Look at this. All the things around it is just very, very cute. Here I have another very cute picture, and I really like it because it has a lot of things on the wall, shelves with a lot of plushies and things, and I would like to add a little shelf on my room. So I'm going to go save this as well. I already saved that, that's good. This other one is like a little shelf full of very cute things, so I'm gonna save that as well into my kawaii final project. And so on, and you can go for a long time making this mood board like big, or maybe you can have just a couple pictures. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you find inspiration and that you feel happy and excited about what you're about to create. So for me, I think that's about it. I think I added enough pictures, but now I'm going to go to my second mood board for my character. For my mood board character, I've created a little folder inside my mood board here. You can do that on Pinterest, by the way, which it's amazing because it contains everything into one big folder. And I called it Character Design Inspo. And I already have some little things here. For example, these little cute slippers. I would love to draw that in my isometric room for my character. I think these little slippers can give my character like this cozy feeling, you know, if my character is using them perhaps, or I don't know, like I think that's great. I also really like these other water bottles to use for milk, that's very cute as well. And here like more objects that I also saved. But let's keep finding more because I wanna make it like very cute, very cozy, very fluffy. So now I'm going to go find cute animals. Here we have like a lot of adorable animals. We have bears, little giraffe, little bunnies, like a little frog as well, but I feel like I'm feeling kitty vibes. So let's find a kitty. This one's pretty cute and I kind of like the colors, but I don't know if I'm super sold on them. I'm gonna save it anyways because it's best to save. Go into my mood board and then choose character inspiration. Let's keep finding kitties. I love this one too. So I'm gonna save into my project, character design inspo. And so on, I'm just gonna go on the rabbit hole here, trying to find the perfect cats to draw. Oh my goodness, this is super cute as well. I'm gonna save it. Let's put it in my folder as well. I remember as well there is like these kitties called calico kitties or calico cats. So I'm gonna find those. Cute calico cat. And here we have like a lot of very cute ones. And I think I'm going to save this one. I already saved that as well. What about this? This is very cute. I love the colors of this one and the shape as well of the face. So I'm going to save to my character design inspiration. I also love the like chunky legs that it has, so this is perfect. This is a really cute cat, and this one as well, I'm gonna save it. If we go back and check just to see how many pins we already have. I think I have the cats already, that's really good. I have the little bunny slippers, which is amazing, and the bags and the cute earrings as well. I think I have enough for my character. I'm gonna stop here. This is gonna be my character mood board, and I can't wait to see your mood boards. Now that we gather all of inspirations in our two mood boards, in the next lesson, I'm gonna teach you how to design your own kawaii character. In this lesson, I'm gonna teach you how to design your main character. With both our mood boards already created, it's time to design our character. And for that, I like to think of my prompts, or my main 3 prompts that I chose before, which was cute animals, pastel colors, and cozy. Based on these prompts, I'm gonna ask myself some questions. For example, is my character a human? Is my character an animal? Is my character living outside? Or is he living in a proper home? What kind of feeling do I want to give to my character? For example, a happy feeling, or maybe a sad, moody feeling, angry feeling, all these kind of things we're going to define right now with all these questions. It's also important to note, for example, the season. Is my character living in summer or in winter, autumn? Define that as well. A color palette is also going to be helpful if we have an idea more or less of the season. For example, if it's winter, I would like to use maybe some blues, some purples, whites, and maybe if it's summer, I would like to use more brighter colors like reds, pinks, bright blues, things like that. I would also like to define what kind of expression is my character gonna show. For example, is it gonna be happy or maybe sleepy? All these kind of things we're going to define with my prompts. I'm going to leave my list of questions as well in the attachments if you want to download them and then have a look and maybe base your character on around these questions as well. Feel free to use it. So now I'm going to show you my human proportions in case that your character is a human and you are curious and want to know what my humans look like. Here I have my human proportions. I really like to have a big round head and a body that is not as small or big. It's kind of like something in between, for example. And I draw some lines here that will help me know, for example, where is the face, where does it go, kind of define a little bit more my proportions, but I use it mainly by feeling. I don't really go by rules. I know a lot of people like to follow rules. If you're one of those people, feel free to do that. Please don't go with my method or anything. I'm just sharing with you what I like, and I don't like following rules. For example, this character that I have here might have these proportions, but maybe I will do another one that will look different, but it's more or less something around this. For my animals, these are the proportions I like to use. Big head and squishy body, also very small. These are my main proportions. If you want to know a little bit more about them, in my first Domestika course, I have more detail on the proportions of the character. Here I already draw an outline of my cat, and I'm going to be using this to create and design the character for our kawaii room. From my mood board, I chose some images already and I brought them here. I will invite you to do the same thing. Open your canvas, draw, for example, the silhouette of your character, sketch it really quick, and then bring up these images, a few selected images that you think are inspiring you enough for your character. And then let's go ahead and just start sketching a little bit over this main silhouette that I already have. As well, I'm gonna be adding this on the attachments if you wanna have a look. Both human and animal are gonna be there. I'm going to make just another layer on top. We don't need to name these ones. It's just a really quick putting ideas together. This doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about it. Just go with the flow and do rough sketching. Don't make anything perfect. We're gonna change this at the end anyways. We're gonna put this character in the isometric room. So this one doesn't have to be perfect. We're just brainstorming. I also like to think of a story behind my character, and I kind of feel like this character is giving me this vibe of cozy, sleepy night. Maybe sleeping in his little bed or something because he has the cute slippers. Let's go sketch that. Here I have my pencil brush. Also, my brushes are available at my shop if you're interested. Otherwise, feel free to use whatever you have. Procreate has amazing brushes to play with, to experiment, so just feel free. But for everyone who's curious, because I get a lot of questions, those brushes are at my online shop. Here I have my new layer. The cute nose is super cute, so I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna do this cute expression that this kitty has, this cute expression. And because I want my kitty to be like sleepy, I'm going to be drawing sleepy eyes on him. I'm not sure yet if he's gonna be completely sleeping or just sleepy. I'm gonna draw it. I think that's a very cute expression, very cozy, very peaceful. Now I'm gonna go ahead and sketch the little slippers. I'm not gonna sketch them on the character, I'm just gonna sketch them here. They're gonna be part of the drawing, yes, but it doesn't have to be wearing it. Just like cute slippers like that, you know, I think that would be super cute. I'm also going to be sketching the fur pattern that the kitty has. And I'm not sure yet if I want to go with this. Let's make some tests. Let's try. Something like this, I suppose. I think it's very cute. And then some like spots here. Maybe on the belly, some spots. This is cute. I kind of like it. But I'm gonna do another test. I'm gonna try this other one. But instead of doing it also all the way, I think I'm gonna do only one side. Like this. It's kind of like an in-between of this and that. And then like this, some orange here. Some spots here as well as the other one. Some on the little arm and some in the belly. Maybe like this. And I think I like this one way more. But we can always change our minds. It doesn't have to be all set in stone, you know. If while you're drawing your isometric room, you feel like, oh my God, I don't really like this, you can always change it. So please don't stress and go with the flow. This is how I'm gonna be drawing more or less my characters. I also want to add some baggies. That'll be super cute as well. I think I'm gonna go with a backpack. So I'm gonna draw the backpack here, like that. And I'm going to just add that in the isometric room. Of course, you can also sketch your character wearing the things. I just like drawing them beside it because I still don't know yet if my character is gonna be sitting, standing, laying on bed, I don't know. So I just like put the stuff around to have an idea at the moment. Right now we're just exploring and just gathering all these ideas, brainstorming, basically making these character story in our heads as well. So I think that's pretty cute. I think that's all I have, all the pictures I chose, but even though I don't have a picture here, I would like to draw a cushion, like a flower cushion. I think that would be super cute. And I want this to be also my character's room. Or maybe even as a hairpin. I think that would be cute as well. That's adorable. Or maybe like a little night cap thingy. I think that's very cute and very dreamy, very sleeping, very cozy. So I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna bring this character in my isometric room. In the next lesson, we're gonna start drawing our isometric room. In the previous lessons, we gathered a lot of inspiration, we created mood boards, and also we designed our main character for our isometric room. So in this lesson, we're gonna start sketching. And the first thing we're going to do is to create a fresh canvas. We're gonna click on the plus sign here on the right corner of Procreate, and then I'm going to create a canvas that is 4,320 pixels for 4,320 pixels is a square canvas. I like working with square canvases, but you feel free to work in whatever you want, whatever size, doesn't matter, you go with whatever you like. So I'm going to create a fresh canvas, and here we have a completely blank one. You might be wondering, how do I start sketching with my isometric room? How do I do this? What can guide me to do this? So I'm going to teach you how. Here on the left corner, we have this tool sign here. And then we have the canvas sign as well here. We're gonna click on that. And then afterwards, we're gonna click on turning on the drawing guide. And now we have a square one, completely normal guide, but we want to use the isometric guide. And for that, we're going to click on edit drawing guide here, and we're going to have this view. And here you can change to 2D grid, which is what we have, to isometric, perspective, and symmetry. We're not gonna use those, we're gonna use isometric. And you can change the size and the thickness of the grid, even the color up here. But I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I'm not gonna change absolutely anything. So then I'm gonna click on done, and my canvas is there, is ready to go. But as well, I forgot to turn on the drawing assistant. Assisted drawing is gonna help me to do these very clean straight lines on the isometric canvas. And I'm just gonna use this for the first part when I'm creating the room guide that I'm gonna be using. Then afterwards I can turn it off. It's on now. To create a perfect cube for the room, we're just gonna count a little bit on the grid. So for example, I'm gonna go on the middle of the grid. I think it's this. So that's the middle. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. And 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom. And that's gonna be my guides for top and bottom. And then I'm going to count again. Don't worry, we're gonna delete these little points, guys, that we're doing. I'm gonna count to 10. So I have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And just to be quick, I'm just gonna duplicate this and then just turn it on the other side like this. Make it a bit better. I think that's good. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. Duplicate and then turn it around for the other side. And now we have our shape that is getting together very nicely. And in a separate layer, I'm going to be tracing the lines for that. And I'm gonna use another color just so I don't get confused. I'm gonna go like this, and then like this, following the points that I did before. Our cube is gonna have the same measurements all around. I think I messed up a little bit right here, that's fine, we can just correct this. All of them have equal measure right now, each side. So this is gonna be my main base. Then on a separate layer, just so I don't get confused, I'm gonna use another color as well. And I'm gonna put the opacity down on layer 3, like this, so I can barely see it. I can get rid of the points now, I don't need them anymore. So I'm getting rid of those. I have my cube here, and I'm going to be tracing the room now. What is gonna be the room? I'm gonna choose another color. I'm gonna turn on again the drawing assistant on this layer, because you have to turn it on each layer. Each layer is like separate from another. So if you wanna have assisted drawing there, you have to turn it on in that particular layer. See how it goes like super straight without me putting effort into it? So I'm gonna go like that. I think I went overboard a little bit, so I'm gonna do it again. It's good to go back, don't worry about it. And then I wanna give my room some walls and some flooring. I'm gonna go like this to draw the flooring, like that, all the way. I'm gonna correct that as well. That's very nice. I don't really like using perfect cubes for my isometric room because I feel like the walls are too tall for my characters. So what I do, and this is completely optional, but what I do is just add another square size here. One like this to the sides. And then I wanna draw the thickness of the other wall, the back wall, like this. And then I use my eraser just to clean it up so I don't get confused. Also, you can turn off drawing assist at this point if you like. And there you go. Now it looks more like a room. It's starting to come together very nicely. Then I go in the middle and try to meet up the other points of this. And now we have our base room, just like that. Very easy, very straightforward, no need to stress. Just follow these quick steps and you're gonna get there super fast. Now that we have our main room guide, we're going to move ahead into sketching the objects in the room and the character as well. I am going to go to my layers and put the opacity down of my room. I'm gonna get rid of also the first guide. We don't need that anymore. We're gonna leave one on, and then on top of that, I'm gonna create a new layer to sketch my objects. And I'm going to choose red to sketch them so I can just show you guys better and so you don't get confused with the lines or anything. So I'm gonna sketch it in another color. I brought from my mood board some inspiration photos. I brought the kitty, some chair, also some little rooms, and the bunny slippers that I really like. This is gonna be like my main pictures that I chose from my mood board. You can choose as many or as little as you want. And I just wanna put them off the way, maybe make them smaller, put them on the corner, move this one to the side so I can see better. And this one to the bottom, just move them like this. Okay, I think that's fine. I think that will be okay. You can also use the reference as well. If you go to Canvas and you turn on your reference, you can also choose an image and put it there. I don't really like to do that because I feel like this window is on my way. So I just do it the old school way, which is like bring them on a layer and turn it off and on. I'm going to go to my new layer and I'm gonna name it Objects. Objects. And this one I'm gonna name Base Room. I really like this, which is the window and the bed beside it and the cushiony flower. I just like that very much. So I'm gonna start sketching the bed and the window as well. So I think I want the window around here. I don't need a drawing assistant because I wanna be free sketching. I kind of like to make it like a little bit round on top, like this. And I'm gonna give it some depth as well, like that. Now I'm going to be sketching the bed, which I want it to be like 3 squares maybe. Maybe that's too big. Maybe let's start over here. Yeah, it's gonna be 3 by 2, like that. Not sure if it's small, but you can always change the size. And the important thing, and I think that's fundamental, is that you follow the isometric grid when you are sketching, because then you're gonna have the perspective right. I think I want my character here, so I'm gonna draw a big head, you know. I'm just drawing and following the grid, just like making my base objects like that. I don't need to be fancy or anything right now. It's just making a guide for me to afterwards refine that sketch more and make it better. So here I think I want to draw a little bookcase. I think that would be very nice. Following the isometric grid like that. I think that looks pretty nice. Then I want to draw a vanity. So I'm drawing here a table. I want this table to go not all the way touching the bed, but close enough. Kind of like this, following the grid. Sometimes you will have to draw in the middle of a square, that's fine too. Just making the shape of it. That's what we want to do. We want to draw shapes. It's important. I want the vanity to have like this bunny shape. So I'm gonna do this and then just draw the bunny ears like that. You notice perhaps that I've been drawing like a little bit boxy, and that's just mainly because this is gonna be my guide. It doesn't need to be round yet, with the exception of the window, because that I really need to see where it goes. But the rest is just boxy, do boxy objects, that's fine. It's gonna be my mirror of the vanity. And then I'm gonna draw a chair, the chair that I have over here. So it's like a heart-shaped chair like that. And it has like a cushion like that. Just follow the grid and then you're going to make your room look amazing. I think the head maybe needs to be a bit bigger. I would also like to add some books here, following the grid as well, like this. Use the eraser if you feel like you made a mistake. And then the bookshelf like that. As you can see, it's like very easy because we have the isometric grid and it's a huge help for us. I would like to add a little rock because here we can see some rocks, they're very cute. But because I don't want to like straight up take too much inspiration from a single image, I like to make my own rock. So let's make it like a cloud. I think a cloud would look pretty nice in this room. Like that, that looks pretty cute. Also following the grid. Even though the cloud is kind of like roundish, you can still follow the grid more or less where it goes. Then I'm going to draw some books as well, like that. More books like this. And then I'm going to also define where the blanket's gonna go. The blanket can go here. Right now it's just very boxy shape. And then I'm gonna draw the cushion, remember, that I wanted, that I drew on my character design sketch, just like in this image. This image, you can see there is a lot of objects, so I just wanna put a cushion over there. And then I want to have a lamp as well here, just coming off the wall, because I don't have much space in the floor anymore. So I think a wall lamp will be very nice, just to have some light coming from it, since this is a very cozy nighttime dreamy room. I think this is looking pretty good to be our base sketch. I think I can put perhaps a little heart over here, like something on the wall, you know, like a poster heart, something like that, or like a mirror. I might change that afterwards. Just an idea. So now you can see we have quite a lot of objects in the room, and that is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So after I've rough sketched the main figures around the room, I went ahead and cleaned it up even more for you to see. So here I have my previous sketch that I was doing with you guys, and then I went ahead and cleaned it up, and now it looks like this. I even added this little garland here and these clouds just because they look cute. So now this will be my base sketch, and I'm going to be drawing the liner over it on the next lesson. So now that we have sketched our isometric room, we're gonna go ahead and start our liner work in this lesson. We totally finished our sketch. This is how my isometric look is gonna look like, and I'm pretty happy with it. So what I'm gonna do is put that sketch, the clean sketch, opacity down right here like this, so I can kind of see it but kind of don't, because I don't want to get too distracted. So I'm gonna put it, let's say 25%. I think that will be okay. And then I'm gonna make sure that the other one is also around the same. I think that's fine. I'm going to make an entirely new group of layers. And by that, I just select all the layers and then click on group, and that's it. And I'm gonna collapse the sketch layer because I don't really need to see all the stuff there. I'm gonna put this one here, which is the room. I didn't add this into the sketch group, so I'm just gonna put it on the bottom of all. I'm gonna call it room. Okay, now I have all my layers organized. I'm gonna give you a look to my layers. Here I have in one group all the sketch layers, all of them, and also my mood board. I'm gonna keep it there for now because I also need to have a look now and then. I have a light sketch, but I'm gonna show you this sketch later. And I also have the clean sketch and the raw sketch. And I'm gonna switch off the rough. I'm gonna leave the clean on and the room as well. So I can collapse it now and go to my new group, and I'm gonna call this group artwork. I like naming my layers, and I'm not gonna name these layers now because I'm going to be merging a lot of them. So there's no point of naming them for the time being. So what I'm gonna do is just use them as they are. And at the end, when I've done all of that, I'm going to name them just so I can This is the floor. I'm just going to make a line here, like this, and one in the other side, like that. So now we have the walls and the floor, and then I'm gonna draw the other lines right here, like this. You can skip this if you like, if you don't like drawing these lines. I like to have them. Not all the time you can see them because I have a lot of things in my isometric room. And then I'm just getting it all nicely like this. Now I have my room done and I can move on into drawing all the objects in my room. I'm going to choose another layer, and this one I can name already because I'm not gonna touch it. This is gonna be called Iso Room. And I'm gonna put it underneath the other ones because remember the objects are gonna be on top. And I can start drawing some of the objects. For example, I'm gonna start with the kitty, with my main character, by the way, which I love. I think it looks pretty sweet, very sleepy. Have the peaceful kitty napping. Then I'm gonna move on to do the pillow like this. I'm drawing a very chunky pillow. And because we have other objects here, I'm going to draw the bed from this part like that. And I'm gonna be rounding this a little bit in this corner. Then straight again. Then again, we drop a line here and then do it kind of round. Since I don't really like it, I try again. I think I need to do it from this angle. Yes, that's better. Then erase all those lines that you don't need anymore. I think that's looking pretty good. And now I can go and draw Same thing as with the window, straight line, then little curve. This objects line art. And there you have it. Before I forget, I'm going to do the line art of the clouds, also on a separate layer, because we Finish our liner. We are going to color our isometric room in this lesson. To start coloring, I'm going to go and open my layers. And as you can see, I named the liner layers Clouds, Objects, and ISO Room. And those are gonna be my main 3 layers for liner. We're not gonna merge these ones, and I'm gonna show you why. I used to have my layers sometimes all merged, but I just learned that separate them sometimes can be helpful to you if you wanna change colors like the backgrounds. In isometric rooms, I think it's a really good way. Just keep them separate and the colors as well. So I put all the liners layers on top of my group and then the colors in the bottom. This way, the liner layer is always gonna be on top and it's not gonna interfere. It's always gonna look crisp. So that's why you should put them always on top. I'm going to choose one of these layers down here, and that's gonna be my color for the room. I'm gonna rename this color room. And then I'm going to go to ISO room and click on the little menu and click on reference. When you reference a layer in Procreate, you can drop colors on a separate layer, and that layer is gonna take as reference the liner one, the one that you have referenced. You're gonna speed up your coloring process like that if you reference your liner layer. So here I have the ISO room layer selected and referenced. I'm going to jump into my color room and then drop the background in there. And for that, I'm going to choose a wooden color, a color that I kind of like. And I'm going to drop it here. And you see, it colored the whole floor. And I also want to do that here as well. And it looks very nice. It looks like a block of color right there of wood. I'm going to go color the walls. And I think I like my walls white. I'm going to choose this and color my walls white like that. I'm going to take the background off so you can see that we actually did color this white. And I'm going to also choose a background color, and I think I'm gonna go for something like pink perhaps, or maybe even purple, or maybe yellow. I think yellow looks pretty good. So let's go with yellow. And maybe we can even do like a pink wall afterwards, because I'm not very convinced about the white walls, and that's something you can always do. You can always go back if you're not very convinced, no problem. I think it looks pretty cute. I'm gonna go now and change the reference to the liner object one. I'm gonna reference that. And on a separate layer from color room, you're gonna name this one color objects. And we're gonna start dropping colors right there. But first, before I forget, I wanna put the little cheeks for my kitty in one layer. So I wanna do that now, because I'm going to be drawing also the design of this fur. And I don't wanna forget, so there you go. Drawing some cute cheeks here. That's pretty cute. I like it. And maybe for the clouds as well. You can also group the clouds and the cheeks in one group. That also helps. So there you go. We have cheeks everywhere where we need it. Now we can collapse this one and go back to objects. I want my kitty to be white and maybe gray. So I'm going to be dropping white on the kitty. And then I'm going to be also coloring the shelves. And this color layer should be on top of ISO room liner. The ISO room liner, I'm gonna move almost at the bottom on top of color. So you can see now the colors that we're dropping are on top of the other ones, and we cannot see the liner of the ISO room anymore. That's why I wanted to keep them separate, because if you want to change just the color of the ISO room, it's just super easy. It saves you a lot of time as well. Now I can move on and color the blanket. The blanket, I want to have it on purple for now. I always change my mind sometimes. Let's have some yellow for the bed. I think that was pretty nice. And then let's have some blue for the pillow. Right now I'm just gonna be dropping colors and see what I like, more or less. Then here, some pink. Pink on the lamp. Some yellow. Just go with your gut feeling, but if you want to know more about color theory, I left something on the attachments. It's a very helpful guide for you on color theory. But if you're like me and you just like to go with your gut feeling with colors, just go ahead and then drop colors, experiment and have fun. The chair is gonna be pink, kind of like respecting the original inspiration. And I think the vanity, I like to have it on white. And then the mirror, I'm gonna do light gray. Like this, that looks super cute, I love it. Then the heart, let's have it in yellow. Yellow looks better. I wanna have a purple heart. At this moment, I'm just experimenting. Maybe blue. And let me bring the cheeks back up on top of the color. I always put the opacity down of the cheeks so you can choose the intensity that you like. And in this same layer, I think I'm gonna draw some details here on the bunny ears in the vanity. I think that looks pretty nice. Then the cloud is gonna be white as well. And the bunny slippers, we can either do pink or white, but let's try. Let's see what they will look like in pink. They also look cute. I'm gonna go with pink. Then just keep dropping colors everywhere. Purple star. This frame here. And I don't know what we can draw on this. Maybe we can draw like a froggy, his froggy friend. Something like that. It looks funny. It doesn't look like a frog, but it looks funny. Then let's keep coloring the books. It goes super fast when you're coloring like this. It's just super quick. And I think we're almost done. It's crazy how fast we can do this by referencing the layers. It goes so quickly. So for this part of the window, I think I'm gonna just make it wooden. I think it looks pretty good like that, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And then the sky, I just might do blue because it's a nighttime scene. Or I could even go purple as well, so let me see. I think the purple looks better, so I'm gonna stay purple. Need to draw ears for the kitty right here. Like that. I think it's starting to come together pretty well. I'm having so much fun. Let's do this book like this, and then another one, maybe green. Then let's use white. And just to make sure I did it, I'm gonna turn this off. Yes. So if I turn all the other layers off, I can see what I'm missing, and I'm missing some parts. So just to see better, I'm gonna be dropping colors like this, just to make sure I don't miss anything. I think I'm not missing anything else. And I can turn on the isometric room colors back and the background again. Now we're going to be coloring the clouds. I'm gonna rename it so I know what's over there, because sometimes the parts are very small in a layer that you really don't see what's going on that layer. So just rename it, reference it, and then drop color like this. Maybe I want my clouds to be purple because it's a nighttime scene. Or maybe dark blue. Maybe like this looks pretty cute. I'm gonna go around it and make sure that I'm not missing any color anywhere. I think I know what I'm missing, and is the design in the kitty. Let's open another layer on top of the cheeks. And I'm gonna name this kitty fur. And let's try the gray style of this kitty. Let's see if it looks good. I have to go back to classes on reference that so I can drop some color. I think it looks adorable, but I have to put this on top of the fur. I can change as well and just add more stuff and then try maybe the other style, maybe the orange one, and then decide which one I want. Then I'm gonna do another layer and then do the orange style, which was the other style that we had when we were creating the character. Oh, that one is pretty cute too. Oh, this is gonna be a really hard decision to make because I love them both. We have this and then this. It's hard. Let me check again. I think I'm gonna go with gray this time. I can always do another isometric room for the orange kitty. And I think we're done with our coloring. I think it went pretty quickly, very smoothly. In the next lesson, I'm gonna teach you how to add some highlights and shadows into this isometric room. Now that we have colored our illustration, we can move on into drawing the shadows and highlights in this. I'm going to take a soft brush here. The soft brush are part of the Procreate default brushes, so you will probably have it. If you haven't deleted or anything, it should be there. So just go ahead and select that one. And I'm gonna put it into perhaps 10% and then be coloring it with it like this. It's like a little shadow casting around everywhere. It's very soft and it's pretty nice. And I can add maybe some orangey here as well, like this, just to add some warmth into it. And then I'm going to deselect. Here we have the light already shining. And then I'm going to put the opacity down a little bit. I feel like the color here of our little bookshelf is not helping us to see the light very much, so I think I'm gonna go change it. And I think blue is the right color because now I can see the illustration popping a little bit more, so it's great. Then an orange book right there. Here on the layer modes, you see the name of the layer and then an N and then the check mark. You click on the N and then you have different blending modes for your lights, for your layer. You can see how it changes. You can just go ahead and try different ones. I just wanted you to see all the options that you have on those layers because you can play with all this and make your illustration pop even more. I'm going to be putting it on add. I don't think it looks good, so I'm just gonna leave it on normal. After checking a few, I don't think I like any. And then I'm gonna rename this into light 1 because I'm gonna have more lights. I'm going to open another new layer and do the exact same thing but with the window. Going to select and make the same thing all over this, like that. Then I'm gonna use my brush again and choose yellow and then just draw some lights. I don't want to make the light from this window too brighty. The opacity of this one is gonna go down like crazy. Then I go here on Gaussian blur and do it more like difuminated. Same thing with the other one. Gonna go in adjustments, Gaussian blur, and do it again. And you see the light is not harsh anymore, more like difuminated everywhere. And I'm going to put the opacity of the one from the window down quite a bit because I just want like a little touch of light, not much. So I'm gonna put it way down. The one from the lamp, that one I'm gonna keep very bright, like that. And now we can move on and do the shadows everywhere. I'm gonna name these shadows. I'm going to be using a purple for the shadows. You can use whatever color you want and then set it on multiply if you want. I just like to do it the old school way. I just like to draw the shadows and then just put the opacity down with one color. But you feel free to experiment. I imagine they're gonna be there's a shadow here in the slippers, shadow here on the side, because remember, like there's light coming from the top, but that's all. This is looking pretty good. Remember just to be using the ISO grid and following the isometric grid all the way so your shadows are also aligned with the isometric grid. That is very important. I think so. Then shadows here as well in the back, like that. And I think it's looking pretty cute. I love it. And I'm going to add another shadow layer just to add shadows within the shadows, because here in this part the vanity is on the shadows, but we want to add more depth into it, so there is more shadows in the shadows. For Then we have finished coloring, adding shadows and highlights, doing line art, all of that. It's time to move on into adding those final touches, and that's exactly what we're gonna see in this lesson. For final touches, I just like to add some decorations here and there. I'm going to be turning on the background again. There we have the background back on. And to add some final touches, I'm gonna create a new layer on top of all the layers and then choose a color. For example, let's say pink. I'm gonna make it a little bit more saturated. And then just add some shine here, some over here, like twinkle particles here and there. But of course you can as well do other stuff, like for example some hearts, some stars. I just like to keep it simple because this is a nighttime scene. And I want to experiment a little bit and go find the luminance brush, and it should be somewhere here, luminance. This folder has a lot of cool brushes just to experiment. I'm going to be testing this with yellow, and then I'm gonna make a new layer as well. And let's try to make some dots. Okay, this is like too much. I don't really like it. Let's try something else. Let's try the light brush. Okay, I think this is too bright and too big. I just want to see if it looks good, so maybe it doesn't. That's fine. We don't have to use it. I think it's kind of cute, but no, I'm just gonna go back into my normal twinkling sparkles. But it was good that we checked, you know? It's always good that you experiment with brushes, that you go check and see what you like. And if you don't like it, no problem, just go back and use whatever you want. I'm gonna be using now a yellow to put some here in bed, some twinkling here. Or maybe I'll do it white because I feel like the pink is just not as bright. To color them, I'm just gonna alpha lock and then go over them like this. I'm gonna leave that one pink because it's in the white background. I think it looks magical, it looks cute. I'm gonna add some sparkles like that. It's like the magic of the night. As well as final touches, I would like to convert this as a wooden floor. The color is already wooden, but it doesn't look like hardwood floor, so I'm going to follow the grid and draw lines like this. And then I'm gonna move this underneath the ISO layer. And then I go again and just duplicate this, so I don't have to draw it again and again. Merge all, so I can just copy paste quicker and then put it here. And I think it really looks like hardwood, so it looks pretty nice. You can also move it the other way if you don't really like it, like this. This orientation looks pretty good, so I'm gonna stick with this. And then I'm gonna do some wood, kind of like texture here and there. It totally looks like wood now. Love it. And now I'm gonna put the opacity down because I don't want the lines to be so harsh. And now it looks like wooden floor. It's super cute. I think with that, we have finished the last touches of our illustration. On the next lesson, as a bonus, I'm gonna teach you how to do a quick animation to bring your isometric room to life. In this lesson, I'm gonna teach you how to do a very quick and easy animation in Procreate as a bonus. The first thing we want to do is to duplicate our canvas with the kitty, with the whole isometric room. Gonna duplicate it, and now we're gonna have two files with the same thing. And we want that just in case we mess up our first file, we always have a backup. And as well, because we're going to be merging a lot of layers together and we don't want to mess up our original. So that's the reason why we duplicate. Then we go to our copy, and here is where we're going to animate everything. Because maybe you guys are new to animation with Procreate, I'm gonna walk you through it step by step. I'm gonna show you how to turn on the application that comes with Procreate. It's called Animation Assistant. We're gonna go here to our main settings, and then we go to Canvas, and then we're gonna click on Animation Assist, and we're gonna turn that on. And as you can see, we have only one frame. And the thing is, you're gonna wonder, like, why do I have only one frame when I have so many layers? Procreate will treat a whole group as one frame. So you can have multiple layers in a group and it's gonna be only one frame. And that's very nice and easy for when you want to animate super complicated things, but it will increase definitely the number of your layers a lot. And because we want to keep it easy so you kind of start getting the hang of it, we're going to merge a lot of those layers. Here I have my kitty, and I am going to take the clouds out of the group because we're going to be animating the clouds. The rest of it we can merge in one. I'm gonna take the group and then flatten it. There we have it. We're gonna get rid of the sketch and all the other guides that we had. We're gonna get rid of that completely. So we have the clouds and the background, which is the kitty isometric room. The next thing we're going to do is we're gonna click on settings, and I'm gonna show you the settings first so you get familiar with it. Here in the settings, you can see that you can turn on skin colors of your onion skin, or you can change how many frames can have, or things like that. An onion skin, it will show you the layer that you have behind as a different color, so you can see more or less where things are when you're like moving things in another frame. It's very easy, and I think I love it. And that's why you here see the clouds in green, because they're in another frame. Therefore, the onion skin is another color. And if I click on the clouds, for example, which I'm gonna flatten as well, if I click on that, the room is in another color. There you can see how the onion skin works. But because we don't want the kitty room to be one frame, we're gonna put it in the background there as set, like not move at all. So because nothing's gonna move over there, we're gonna click on it, on the first frame here. And then here you can see the frame options. This can even hold a duration. You can even duplicate the frame, delete it, or set it as a background. And we want to do that. So this is gonna be our main background. And now you can see it's not a frame, and now the clouds appear to be not like in a different weird color anymore, because they are the only frame that we have. We're gonna just duplicate these a bunch of times, let's say 4 times. This is a super easy animation because it only has 4 frames. So we're going to be naming our layers. I already named number 1, number 2, then we can do number 3 and 4. And then you will be wondering, what kind of thing are we gonna do with these clouds? What kind of movement? So I'm gonna give you a super quick tip on where to move the clouds up and down. Just to explain you what I want to achieve with this animation is I want these clouds to bounce like this. So let's say here is our main frame, and I want the clouds to float. So it's gonna be like super cute. I'm gonna draw some guides. Again, I'm gonna turn on the drawing assistant and the isometric grid again. I'm gonna draw some quick guides for me just to know where to place those clouds. I usually don't need the guide anymore, but at the beginning when I was starting animating, I draw these guides just for me to know exactly where I wanna put the things. I'm gonna make just a quick movement. I don't want the clouds to bounce around too much. Here's the start, and I wanna put 1 first frame, 2, 3, and then the 4th over here. Maybe even closer, like this. Maybe the other ones as well, a little bit close together. You're gonna see what this is going to achieve. By separating the last frame, it's gonna make it look like it bounces up. If we do them all frames, one after the other on the same like space, the same, this is not gonna have this bouncy effect. I'm gonna duplicate this layer again and set it up on the other side, but I'm gonna flip it upside down. Because remember, one is going down and the other one is going up. So it's going to move this movement. I'm going to duplicate it, set it nearby so I can see where it goes, like this, and then merge them together. And now it's a frame, but because we don't want to have that, we're going to click on this frame right here and then set it as a foreground. This is going to make our guys to be in the foreground and it's not going to be part of the animation at all. And we can delete it afterwards. Super easy. Now that we have our guides, we can start moving the clouds. But first, I want to add this cute twinkly star effect on the window nearby the moon. It's not only the clouds moving, also the stars are twinkling. And for that, I'm going to take this color, which is white, and my line art brush. I'm going to be drawing those. I'm going to just do another quick layer, then draw those twinkling stars here and here and do some little dots. And then I'm going to duplicate this layer, of course, 4 times as well. Then I'm gonna put it under each little cloud like this. And remember, each group is a frame. You could either merge this or you can group them. And I think I'm just gonna group them real quick so I can just move the other layer separately. You can also just merge them as well. Here I have all my layers and all my groups. So I'm gonna take the cloud layer and I'm gonna start animating this. The first frame I'm gonna leave as it is. We don't need to move it around. We go to the second frame and I'm gonna take my cloud and I'm going to move it down slightly like this. Remember, we have those guides. Just try to put it where you put the other guide, like this. Then I'm gonna go to the other cloud on the bottom and do the same thing, and I'm just gonna repeat this process throughout the guide, like that. You can see a little movement already when you go back and forth. Also, I'm gonna do the same thing with the others. And then we move our third cloud, like this up. I have magnetics on, so it's gonna tell me where my cloud's going. So you can see I'm placing it exactly on my guides, which is pretty great. Then I go number 4, and I'm gonna take the last cloud and put it all the way to the bottom to do the bounce effect. And if you don't like the bounce, you can change the distance, do it smaller. We're gonna try it right now like this, and if it's too much, we can just go back and move it around again. Let's test this, and as you can see, it's super fast. So we're gonna pause and we're gonna adjust that because I want them to ping pong. This means when they go down, they will repeat the animation but backwards. So I'm gonna set this to ping pong, but there is also loop, which means like it's just gonna repeat itself, or one shot like this, so it's just once. I'm gonna be using ping pong because it's gonna repeat back and forth, so now it's moving like this. It's super fast. Whereas if I was using loop, it's just not the same. It's similar, but it's not the same. I'm gonna choose ping pong and I'm gonna adjust the frames per second. Right now it's set to 15 frames per second, but I'm going to be doing around 5, unless that's how it looks like. Now you can see that cute bounce effect. I like it. I think that's pretty cute. And I think I'm gonna try 4 frames per second just to check real quick. And I think that's pretty cute. It's pretty dreamy. The bounce I feel like is too much, so I'm going to go back and fix that real quick. It just drops too harsh. So I'm gonna go back, fix the bounce, put it upwards a little bit like this. And then the other one again. And let's test the animation. Now I think it looks pretty good. You can still test the speed and the frames per second, but I think this is pretty good. So I think we have our cute clouds completely animated. So let's move on now to the twinkly stars. To achieve this twinkly effect, I will just need to move slightly each of those frames. And so it kind of like looks like this, making like this movement. First frame, I'm gonna leave it as it is, remember? And the second one, I'm going to select it. And then we're gonna move it like this, just make it slightly smaller. I think that's pretty good. Then move on to the next frame, do the same thing, move it upwards, then inwards again on the 4th frame. And now we can test our animation. Let's test this. So now you can see like the stars are kind of twinkly and it looks pretty cute. I'm gonna test it again, but maybe with 5 frames per second again. I think 5 will be the right choice, but I feel like the twinkly stars are a little bit too quick for me. Perhaps I'll do the movement less harsh. So I have the onion skin, I know where the other frame was before. I'm just going to move it like that. It's still a bit harsh, so I don't really like it. Let's try it again. Perhaps this will help a little bit. I think I'm going to check the other frames for the twinkly stars because the movement might be a little bit too harsh. I think it looks better, looks super cute. And now we can get rid of the guides, which we put on top of everything. And now we can get rid of the isometric grid again as well. And now we can test the animation. This will be a really good base for you to start doing little animations that could help you in your business, for your website. And in the next lesson, I'm gonna teach you how to export your animation. In this lesson, I'm gonna teach you how to export your animations. As you can see, we finished our animation. We have the clouds moving and the stars twinkling, and I think it looks very cute. And there is a lot of things that we could use this animation on, and depending on that is what we're gonna do as when we export. For example, if this animation is gonna be for a website, there is certain settings I can use so we can export it. Because this, I'm just gonna have it for me as a GIF. I'm gonna export it as that. If you want this to be a sticker, for example, for Instagram or things like that, you can just switch off the background like this. If we play the animation, you can still see it. Or you can leave it with the background as well. It's entirely up to you. But because this is just for my final project, I'm gonna leave the background on. Now we're gonna go here to our settings. And then in share, we're gonna go and click here where it says share as an animated GIF. You can choose that or also share as an animated MP4 if you wanna upload this on YouTube, or if you wanna use your animations or your YouTube videos, for example, you should be exporting this as an MP4. But because we are gonna just use it in our final project, we're gonna export it as a GIF. So we're gonna go ahead again, share as an animated GIF. And then here we have our settings. I like to export in the max resolution because if I export on web ready, it's gonna look absolutely pixelated and there is no point of doing that. So let's just go on max resolution. And then afterwards, you can see here we have the frames per second, that's correct. You can even change them right here again, or go back to 5. So there we have it back to normal. Dithering is fine. All these settings, let's leave them as it is. If you wanna export this as a GIF without the background, just click on remove background. That's it. It's that easy. Afterwards, you click on export and it's gonna be saved on your iPad. So now that we have exported our animation, in the next lesson, I'm gonna give you just my final tips for your art journey. So now that we finished completely our isometric rooms, I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to pose your final project. So remember to keep practicing your isometric skills by drawing on your grid, experimenting with shapes, things like that. Remember just to keep practicing. Practicing is key. You can as well be practicing your animation skills by making like very short GIFs, very basic, very small, and you can also upload them on Giphy and to have them as your own Instagram GIFs for your Instagram stories, for example. Remember as well to draw every day to keep your creative juices going. Also, stay active on social media, keep posting every day if you can, or here and there throughout the week. The thing is that you just need to stay active and interacting with all the people that come through your account. And remember to keep your portfolio and website updated. Stay motivated by making a list of goals and try to work through them every day, little by little. Stay true to yourself and remember to let your personality shine through your art. We have reached the end of this Domestika course, but don't go anywhere because in the next video we're gonna review everything that we have learned in this course.